Hello. This video tutorial is intended to be a complete walkthrough of the installation process for Morrowind Overhaul Sound and Graphics version 3. The first thing you're going to want to do is have a clean installation of Morrowind to install the overhaul on top of. The overhaul is a large collection of mods and external programs and can't be guaranteed to work with anything other than a fresh installation. Next, you'll want to unzip the installation files into your new Morrowind directory and run the executable file called mo installer. You'll first see a welcome screen. There is information here about 3 icons that will indicate when steps in the installer are automated or manual and indicate when there is important information for you to read. Click Next to continue. Now you'll see a screen that confirms that the installation files are in a Morrowind directory, that user account control is disabled on Windows Vista and 7, that your game is patched to the latest version, and that the Tribunal and Blood Moon expansions are installed. If any of these requirements are not met, you must address them before continuing. If everything checks out, click Next to continue. The next screen reminds you to keep your video drivers up to date and provides you with a download link to the latest drivers for your system. You don't have to update your drivers to continue installing the overhaul, but it is recommended to do so before playing the game. Click Next to continue. The next 3 screens check your system for several dependencies that Morrowind Overhaul needs in order to run. These being DirectX, Visual C++ 2008, and the .NET Frameworks 2 and 4. You are also provided with download links to the correct version of each of these runtimes for your system. Click Next to continue once you're squared away with each of them. The next screen prompts you to extract the files from Morrowind Overhaul into their appropriate locations within your Morrowind directory. You are also provided the option of backing up your Morrowind directory before the files are extracted, allowing you to restore the vanilla installation at a later time. After that's done, you must set a slider to the option Slow, Medium, Fast, or Very Fast, whose description most closely matches the hardware on your system. This step will ensure that your game performs well enough to be playable while looking as nice as possible. Once you're done, click Next to continue. The next screen simply informs you that the installer took care of something behind the scenes for you, and you may safely continue to the next screen. The next screen prompts you to launch the Morrowind code patch, so click the button in the center of the screen to launch the application. Look through the options and select or deselect them according to your preferences using the checkboxes on the left. Once you're satisfied, click Apply Chosen Patches to continue. Click the button in the center of the next screen to launch an application that modifies Morrowind's .ini file to accommodate Morrowind Overhaul. Once you've clicked the button, the process is automated, so sit back and refrain from touching your mouse or keyboard until it's complete. Click the button in the center of the next screen to launch the executable optimizer for Morrowind. This process is largely automated, but you may have to point the optimizer to the Morrowind directory where you are attempting to install the overhaul. The next screen prompts you to open a program that allows you to choose a variety of options for the overhaul. The options are color-coded by how much they negatively affect performance, with green being the least effect and red being the most. Go through the options and choose the ones you want. Use the context images and map at the top to help you with your decisions. Don't forget to visit the second tab titled MGE under the map to select your preferred version of the Morrowind graphics extender. Once you have done this, click Apply to continue. Click the button in the center of the next screen to open the Morrowind launcher and let the installer automatically tweak a setting or two in order to avoid a potential issue later. The next screen reminds those of you who own Morrowind on Steam that the in-game overlay conflicts with the Morrowind graphics extender, and you must disable the overlay in order to play. There's a link to information on how to do so. Currently, the overlay setting is under the In-Game tab of the Settings menu for Steam. Those of us who have owned a copy of Morrowind since before Steam existed may disregard all of this and simply click Next. The next two screens feature buttons that launch automated programs that will advance you to the next screen after they are finished. The first is a utility that sorts the load order of your mods as to avoid conflicts between mods, and the second optimizes the Morrowind executable file to improve stability and performance if you are on a 64-bit operating system with at least 4 GB of RAM. The next screen allows you to review some information about your Overhaul installation. Click Next after you're done. This next screen gives you the option of either configuring Morrowind Graphics Extender manually or accepting the automatic settings. If you wish to configure it yourself, click the Manual Configuration button in the center of the screen. However, advice on doing so is beyond the scope of this guide. If you wish to use the automatic settings, simply click Next and then the Run MGE button on the next screen. You'll be asked to provide the resolution at which you wish to run the game and the directory you wish to store screenshots in. After this process is complete, you're done, and the installer will automatically exit. Your game should be set up and ready to play. Have fun.